Hey guys, welcome to our Hot Seat series. We did this last year and we are so excited to bring this series back. My name is Melissa Gallamay. I'm going to be facilitating for you guys today. I have been a coach for years, which is crazy. To get everyone's lines muted, that would be awesome. Because most days I feel like I'm still learning right along with brand new baby coaches. And one thing that we have learned as leaders that have come together in this is that you always have to learn from one another. The moment that you feel like you are, have all the knowledge and you have learned everything, you probably protect yourself, because one thing is inevitable is that growth will take you to a different level. And we decided that we wanted to bring this series back in December. We know it's kind of a crazy time with the holidays. Let's just face it, 2020 has been a crazy year, and we're actually going to discuss that today. But over the next few weeks, we're going to be coming to you Wednesday, the same exact time. Bring your teams, and we are going to have a different set of leaders who are going to be pouring out. We'll have questions. You can throw them in the chat, and we will get them. But I want to go ahead and get you guys introduced to our guest speakers today. We have Katrina Scott, who is a 7-star coach. She is a 2-time, almost 3-time elite coach. We also have Cosy, who is 2-time elite, 1-time elite. She is been in the business. I feel like we've been working closely together for like the past 4.5 years. And all of the ladies on this call, most of us met because of different masterminds. So what I would look around and see who you're surrounding yourself with. Who can you build relationships with? Because it might be you that's leading a call like this for your teams in the future. So today's topic that we are going to jump into is, how do you build your business through adversity? I want each of the ladies kind of to give themselves a little introduction so you know who you're talking to today. And then I'll go through the first question. So Katrina or Cosy, who wants to go first?
I'll go. I guess I'll go. We're both like looking at each other. So I have been coaching about 7 years, which is crazy. Obviously, a lot of us have that like sign up day and then actually coaching start date. I was one of those people that kind of dabbled. I had a lot of like personal self-esteem issues to work through. And I probably waited like 2 years before I actually started coaching. Kind of when my back was against the wall, I was going back to school and super burnout. And so I was single at the time, and I didn't want to take out a ton of loans for school. So Micah Folsom is my sister-in-law. So I obviously knew it worked, and I knew that you could be very successful with it, but I also didn't think it would work for me. And I think a lot of people kind of think that. And so it took me 2 years to get started. But when I was in school, I'm like, hey, I have to find a way to make this work because I need the income. And so that's literally when I built the base of my business while I was the busiest I've ever been. I think sometimes the busier you are, you just like bust it out. You don't have all this time in the day to do it here and do it there. You have a short period of time and you're super intentional. And that's how I was when I was in school and still working. And so, I've been doing this full time now for 3 years, which is crazy to think about. I wouldn't change it for the world, because like with my family, and I'm married now, I literally wouldn't have been able to make it work with my husband because we dated long distance if it wasn't for this business. I was able to go for like a week at a time because we can work wherever. You literally just need your phone to make this business work. And so we've been able to travel a ton this year. So this business has been a huge blessing, and I just don't know where I'd be without it. So short and sweet, but go for it, Katrina.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm Katrina Scott. I have been a coach for, it will be 7 years in February, and I feel like that is so unreal because I love this business. I'm super passionate about it. I definitely bleed blue. I was a photographer prior, and I owned my own studio north of the Napa Valley. So My time was not my own. Even though I was self-employed, I was just a business owner because someone else still ran my time. Someone else still dictated my freedom. And that was something I never wanted. The whole reason I went to school and got a degree was so that I could own my own business and be successful in what I thought success was, which has always been freedom. And when I started missing things like first fish being caught and camping trips and all that family time that I had so, just that's all I ever wanted to be when I grew up was a mom. And I always told myself my business would take, a back seat to being a mom and my family first. And that's exactly what opposite happened. So when I signed up, I literally, the words out of my mouth were, if you ask me to sell anything, I will quit. And that's because I do not sell anything. At the end of the day, I still, 7 years later, 3 times elite, 7 stars, whatever you want to say it, the accolades, I have never sold a product, a challenge pack. I have simply shared in my journey. And to be honest with you, it happened second nature. When I first started, I just started telling people what I was doing, and I was so excited about it because my gym had closed. I was a gym rat, and I felt like someone died, and I didn't know what to do, so I took a gamble on this. And when I do something, I go all in. So I signed up as a coach with every intention to send back that bag of Shakeology, and I fell in love with it. And I was so enthusiastic and excited about it that when I shared my journey, other people wanted to do that with me. So I hit Success Club in my first month as a non-working coach. And I continued to do that throughout my business. And I just want you guys to know that people mirror your excitement. So if you get excited about this business, and yes, there may be ebbs and flows, but 7 years later, I still wake up so freaking excited about this business, that I have purpose, that I have passion, and that I get to change people's lives, whether it's financially, whether it's, within fitness or in friendships, freedom, whatever it is. But I can tell you that in 2019, it was the end of 2018, I drew a line in the sand and I said I was going to retire my photo business. And it was a huge leap to not just go all in with the business, because I felt like I'd been going almost all in, it was 90% in. But it was the fact that I had a massive income that I would have to replace in order to close my studio. And within 3 months, we made that happen. And now a year later, 2 years later, I look at it as like, that was the greatest blessing ever. This gift is whatever you want to make of it. You just have to open the gift. Like it's handed to you. It's sitting in your lap. If you're on this call, you already have the gift. Now go ahead and open the dang thing and use it. Okay? Because that is what we do in this business every single day. And whatever it is you want, 6-figure income, freedom, away from your job. Maybe you don't want to leave your job. Maybe you love your job. Maybe you want to take your family on vacations. You guys, that's all sitting in your lap at this very moment. And even in the hard seasons, if you show up, you can have it. Absolutely, hands down, you can have it.
Yes, going to church already. Ooh. Okay, so let's dive into the questions that we have. And I'm going to tackle probably one that's going to address what a lot of people are feeling right now. With so much toxicness on social media, how are you guys still running successful businesses? How are you leading your teams? How are you protecting your peace? Did it not go?
Toxic social media was about all I got out of that. And how we're leading our teams through it. And all I can say, you guys, is I don't mean to say I'm naive, but I don't engage in the negative. And I will tell you what people tell me when they look at my social media. All the time I get, you are so positive. I want a part of whatever you're doing because you're seeing the world through rosy colored glasses. You are not seeing what I'm seeing. And I have to tell you guys that it's because I choose not to. And I lead my team in the same way. Head down, we're here to work. I will be completely honest with you. If it wasn't for my business, I would not have any form of social media. I don't love social media in any way, shape, or form. And I can also tell you, the first time I went elite, I had no Instagram, and my Facebook account was on private, and I still did it. So I can tell you guys that you do not have to please all audiences. You don't have to take, or post anything about your political views or sides and all of that. I think it's very, very important that you are the light. And I tell my team all the time, keep it light, keep it fun, and people will continue to follow, and they're going to want a piece of that. The moment we go one way or the other, literally one way or the other, a line's drawn, and some people have one opinion of you and some others don't, and it just changes. And so if you just keep it to your 5 things of your avatar, and hopefully politics are not one of them, or craziness of COVID, I've always said, like, you have to keep your opinion out of it. And that's just my take on it, because I feel like so many people are like, but then I'm not being true to myself. You can still be 100% true to you and just continue to post about the amazing things in your life, your kids, your business, your husband, if you're going on a trip, if struggles, whatever it is. You don't have to bring any of that negativity into this at all. I hope I hit that one, because I didn't get the whole question.
That was awesome. Cozy, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously agree with everything. So you control what your social media looks like. And also, the block button is your favorite thing ever. I block people literally every single day. If anybody comes on my page and leaves any type of negative comment, literally, I don't even take the time to comment back. I literally just block them, especially if they're coming from a very negative place. Like, I do not want that on my page. I just don't. And maybe that's extreme, but I just feel like that is my safe haven. That is something that, that I want to keep positive and put out there. And if you want to bring negative, you're instantly blocked. And I also think that, both of us have been coaching about 7 years. My 7 years was in July, so a little bit longer. But I think when I started, we also didn't have we didn't have as many trolls and negative people, all these I don't know what they do with their lives on fake accounts and social media, going after influencers. We didn't really have that. And so I just really encourage my coaches, use the block button and keep your PD. You guys have to be able to control your mindset, or else all those people's opinions that are literally complete strangers will affect you. So really, really, really do all the PD that you possibly can, and then share that good, positive stuff that you read and listen to from your PD, and you will literally attract those positive people, because you can still be very passionate and about certain things, whether that's politics or religion, whatever it might be, but also look at this as this is my business, and I also don't want to make somebody feel a certain way if they might have a different opinion than I do. And so I personally don't talk about it much, just because I don't want anybody to feel, like you said, an opinion about me based off one post. But you guys, just literally use your platform to help and make other people's lives better. Stop worrying about the rest of the stuff that the world is going on, or that's going on in the world. And you be somebody that, when people have a bad day, they want to go to your page and they want to watch your stories, because they know for sure that you're somebody that's going to be sharing good and positive things. Not saying that we need to be fake and pretend like life and everything is perfect all the time, because we all know it's not. Still share your personal struggles and stuff like that, but you don't need to go in depth of all the things, the crap that's going on in the world. Just keep your page and block all the people that are rude and mean. That's literally what I think is, if somebody wants to come to my page, even if honestly I've had prior conversations with them about other stuff, but if they come and say something legit rude or mean, I block them. Maybe they had a bad day, I get that, but it's still, I don't need it to mess with my energy and how I feel about myself because they had a bad day. So that's just my opinion.
I agree with everything you guys said. The other thing that I would just add in there is just gut check, is make sure your newsfeed is feeding you and that you're feeding it well. Because if it's draining you and it becomes a toxic place, just like these girls said, you're in control of that. Like you are in 100% control of what you see in your timeline. So exactly, Nikki, protect your energy. So next question, because I want to be respectful of people's time. And Katrina, this one might be more just for you. And Cosy, if you have any ideas, because I know you have a lot of nieces and nephews, but right now people are trying to navigate distance learning and have put their kids, either in private schools or they've decided to homeschool. How are you helping your coaches navigate that?
Absolutely. Well, I think a word we get a lot is overwhelm. And I don't like that word. Okay. Because overwhelm is not a thing. Overwhelm just means it's something new that you have to adapt to. So when people come to me and say they're overwhelmed, it's like, what changed, right? So of course, our routines are completely changing with kids at home, maybe spouses at home, people working from home. Like that was my domain and now everybody's in my space. So the first thing I ask my team is, what time do you get up and what time do you go to bed? Because if you can get up before the littles and get anything done, even if it's your workout, you will be better off. But most times I'm like, I had to switch. My power hour happens at like 9 o'clock, which was normally a 5 o'clock thing for me, right? Because things have just had to change or on breaks. But navigating through it is literally, you have to be organized. You have to make it a priority. This is your business. It might be something you have to stay up an hour later to get done. It might be something you have to do in between the kids' breaks or when they're on lunch, but it can be done. And like Cosy said in the very beginning, like the busier you are, like that's when you thrive because you are so structured with your time. So I found when I had 2 different kids going on 2 different schedules. My husband was gone. It was flipping crazy. Like I have never experienced that sort of chaos. I've never even had anxiety until this whole thing happened. And I'm like, I get this feeling where like my hands are clamming up and I can't breathe. Everyone's like, that's anxiety. I'm like, what? I've never had anxiety. Okay. I'm having an anxiety attack. So with that being said, it was like I sat down and found the time. Sometimes it wasn't in an hour block because my workout meant the most to me, that for my own sanity, that maybe it was at recess for Mason while Maddox was silent reading. Or maybe it was when Mason was on lunch and, he got a little bit of free time while Maddox was in, his headphones and doing the homeschool thing. So I think it's really about organization and finding those pockets because we all have them. And I hate to be the one to break it to you guys, but sacrifice, you are a business owner. So therefore, sometimes you have to make sacrifice, even in a season of chaos. And if that means you might lose an hour of sleep to work this business, let me guarantee you that the times that I did that, it had massive payouts. Okay. So it's not like you get to just say my business hours this season are going to be, 8 to 5. Like that's not how overtime works. That's not how businesses that exponentially grow in a season of chaos, that's not how it works. Like you have to make the sacrifice. So you have to find where that sacrifice is. And I'm not saying it always has to be a sacrifice. This is a season. This too shall pass. But get super organized, create a schedule, and then stick to it. That's number, like the golden ticket there. You've got to stick to it. But you also need to really focus on where those pockets of time are. I told one of my girls, I need you to send 10 invites before you stand up to pee. Like if you go to the bathroom, that's where your 10 invites are coming in. Guess what? Her business blew up. Okay, that's where you're going to find. She has 5 boys, by the way. So if that's the only time she can find, guess what? It's working. So figure it out and find the pocket and then stick to it and make it happen.
Awesome. I am a mom of 3 and I have a kindergartner a 5th grader and an 8th grader, so I totally get it. And my kids are home full time. I was like looking forward to having that few hours a day while my daughter went to school for the first time in 5 years, because I worked out of the house before Beachbody. This brought me home. So I was literally looking for that. So like Katrina said, is getting yourself organized and making those sacrifices. I don't like to wake up at 5:30, but guess what? Or wake up at 5 to do a power at 5:30. I do that because if I don't, I'm all over the place. Okay. So just get really intentional on what you can. And then Cozy just said, make sure to ask for help. That's a huge one. If you can outsource things, do that. Okay. So, you can prick our brains more on that if you need that. Next question is, and Cozy, if you want to kick this one, how are you finding working people who want to work the business in this season, like new coaches?
I think more than anything, I think this is like a question that people always have, whether it's 2020 or any other year previously. And I think that it's the same thing. One, if you're only recruiting 2 coaches a month, chances are probably those 2 coaches are not going to be business builders. Okay. They might be, but they probably won't. But if you're recruiting 10 coaches, you know what, 1 or 2 of those might be a legit business builder. So more than anything, you just got to up your numbers. And I've had some good months this year and some that aren't as good. And it's literally because, you guys, I was not recruiting enough people. Okay. And I think that's more literally, you just need more numbers, more people to talk to. You need to talk to more people, talk about it more on your social media. I think sometimes, well, for me, I think that we think that everybody, because we've been doing this for a long time, everybody knows what we do. That I coach full time, that just because I'm doing my workout, I'm sitting down to do my power hour, doing my PD, that people know what I'm doing, but people are absolutely clueless. And so talk about coaching every single day in your stories, in your posts, talk about it to some degree every single day, and let people know that you have an opportunity for them to join you. Because I also think that a lot of people are not going to even understand that they can join you unless, one, you literally talk about like, come do this with me every single day, or you are just straight up inviting people, because people are going to sit and watch. I mean, how many people on this call literally sat and watched their coaches for 6 months, a year? A lot of people. Okay. And they didn't actually jump and do it until they were invited maybe 5, 6, 10 times. So, yeah, you guys up your numbers and talk about it every single day. And that's, for me, that's the only thing that I can just say that I can get business builders is doing those things. Like, I don't think that there's a secret. You can have 100 followers on Instagram and get the same amount of builders as if you have 10,000 followers, because if you talk about it, people know that it's an opportunity that they can jump on. Okay. That's all I got.
Awesome. Katrina?
Absolutely. The only thing I would add is, like, she pretty much hit on it though, is consistency. Like, you have to continue no matter what's going on at a rate that bleeds your success, right? So just like the 10-to-1 ratio Cozy gave you, it's no different just because what's going on in your life. The other thing, everyone asked for that secret sauce, and like she said, it's the consistency. But also, if you're not inviting, people are not going to come to you. I always tell my team, it's the whole birthday party or whatever kind of party you're having. You can't just talk about having a party and think people are going to show up. It's absolutely imperative that you invite them to it if you want people there. So continue inviting no matter what's going on. We know it's a crazy time. Incomes have been cut in half. But if you're getting a money objection, I think it's really important that we talk about, I have the most amazing opportunity that you could earn. You could earn 6 figures if you want. Like, I think sometimes we're too scared to bring that part up. And if, no matter what we're talking about, it's your boot camp. If all you're talking about is energized and doing an energized dance party, that's all people are going to want to do. If you start talking about coaching and 10x that conversation, people will start joining you to work this business. It's just that simple. That's all I got.
Awesome, ladies. Okay. Has there been a event that you were able to attend either virtually or maybe it was in person this year, or a podcast or a book that's really just helped carry you through this season, or like sparked something within you, or you've seen it in other people, anything like that? We'd love to hear.
I have been really digging the Mindset Mentor podcast. I love them because, so if you haven't, it's just called the Mindset Mentor with Rob Dial. I think they're solid. They're like 15 to 20 minutes, which I love because some podcasts are so long. Sometimes it's hard to like actually stay focused for an hour. But that's been like so solid. And he literally talks about all the things. So that's been something that has really helped me through this time because, you know, whether I'm struggling, you know, my physical journey or, you know, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is, my time management, he literally has a podcast on that. So that's something that I've been loving right now. I've actually been super into podcasts lately over like audibles and books. So
My book of choice this year, or at least through this crazy time, has been You Can Have It All, Just Not at the Same Damn Time. And anyone that knows me knows my favorite book is Get Over Your Damn Self. I have a lot of my new coaches read that book, and this is the sequel to that. So having both of those in your hot little hand it has been fire for me. I love both of those. I've read them multiple times. And then, of course, the 5-second rule I go back to all the time, just because sometimes I need to remind myself that even though it's not something like inviting's not fun for any of us. I don't know anybody who loves to do that, but sometimes I just need to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and get it done. And that book lights that fire to make it happen. And that's by Mel Robbins.
Awesome. I would also add, ladies and gentlemen, whoever watches this later, is any events that maybe your upline's hosting, or attending virtual super weekend, summit, those have all really just made us still feel super connected. And I know some of us have had small retreats in place of, you know, leadership, or retreats that we were going to do with our larger teams. So I would just really encourage you guys to make sure that you're still submerging yourself into the opportunity. I would say this year's leadership was probably one of the most powerful for me, even though it was all virtual. Like, Beachbody didn't hold back any stops. And so when you can qualify for those things, maybe you're pushing for an end of year goal, like making it to NLC. I don't know if that's passed already, but like, I want you to be so freaking fired up and excited that you still have that opportunity, and immerse yourself into that. Maybe you can get together with a couple girlfriends, do a sleepover, whatever you need to do, get matching PJs, but like, go all in with all of those things. Show up to your team calls, document those things, and really implement the personal development that you're reading. And if you don't have something that you are, they just offered 3 really great books that are in the chat, so you can check those out. Okay. Next thing is, what are the non-negotiables in 2020 that you are talking to your team, especially your new coaches, as they get enrolled, that they must do to build this business?
So my big thing right now is to have all your new coaches focus on your journey. I am super grateful because Micah, we kind of think the same. I like to keep things super simple. Like, I don't like 500 million things that people need to do. I think a lot of times coaches, and yeah, overwhelm is like such a silly, like, saying that we all have used from time to time, but people do. They feel like they just don't have enough time in the day sometimes to finish all the things. So I think, one, spending at least that first month, like, super focusing on their journey. And I can't remember what National Wake Up Call was just, and she literally said, I don't talk about Success Club, I don't talk about Emerald. It's just help 3 people get started how you got started. And I think that is what I really try to focus with my new coaches, Erin, and just getting people started. Start with your own journey and inviting a few friends to do it with you. And then I also do talk about, like, after they kind of hit that first month of like hitting Success Club, and hopefully at that point they are Emerald, by chance. And then I talk to them about like success starters. Like, I think that's huge. You guys, like, so many of us veteran coaches have been in maybe one test group ever. There's new coaches all the time, or we've never been in a test group. And so that is like a huge, big deal that I think people don't realize, that when you are a success starter hitting Success Club, 3 of your first 6 months coaching, you get invited to that. And that 100% can totally change the direction of your business. So I do talk about success starters because I don't want my coaches to miss out on that opportunity, because that's awesome.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Just having them focus on their journey, I think being your best challenger sets the pace of your business. And you're going to get amazing results that people know and will learn to like, know, and trust that it works. Being proof the product works, or product of the product, is one of our vital behaviors for a reason. And then other than that, I just went through a new onboarding system, and I kept it super, super simple. It's 1 page. It just gives them a little bit, because most of my people start as discount coaches, but I also don't want them to miss the opportunities like Success Starter. And now that it's a 6-month thing and not a 3-month thing, I feel like that is such a stinking gift. But I do want them to know, because I guess I have to preface this with, a lot of my coaches that come in are either for the discount or they want to start earning at least their product paid for. So we do talk about Emerald to create a paycheck. Anybody that's ever listened to me knows I'm volume driven, volume based. Like, rank doesn't matter to me. Money does. So I definitely talk in a different way, especially onboarding, and that it's great to help a few of your friends, but let's get that product paid for. And we can do that within, the first 24 hours of opening your business by inviting your mom, your friend, your coworker, whatever, and let's get that paid for. And a lot of times my coaches will come in with their 3 people in mind, because we've already had that conversation in the invite. So when they get in person, and so then it's an easy, focus on their next 30 days of their journey. And then it's an easy, like, spouse was their one that they're bringing as their buddy. Maybe it's, your mom or a coworker, and then they're getting results and people are asking them what they're doing. So it's like an easy transition. So that's kind of how I focus on that. But just get them to fall in love with the process and what they're doing, and you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I echo all of that. And if you guys haven't listened to that national wake-up call that Cozy was referring to, it's Aaron Hopkins. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, literally really good. You guys, you can go onto the 411 page, or you can get it off the podcast. Do yourself a solid, even if you have to fast forward past the recognition, and get the nugget of the call, because Aaron literally delivered fire that day, especially if you're a new coach or wanting to learn how to lead new coaches. Okay. So we have time for one more question, and then we'll probably open it up for a couple minutes if you guys have questions. But whoever wants to start on this one, say you have been a coach for a little while, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 5 years, and this has just been, it's been a challenge for you. What feedback or advice would you give to someone who feels like they've lost their joy in working this business and they feel like they're stuck? What would you tell them?
I would say go back to being a challenger. Oh, sorry, Cozy, you can take it. I just feel like if you've lost the joy in this business, I hate to bring up the why, because everybody's like, I don't know my why, or when I started, I didn't have a why. Or maybe my why was to lose 10 pounds and those are gone. What brings you joy? Like, for me, it was working out in the community and having the support. And if that is the joy, go back to that. Because like I just said in the last question, when you're proof the product works, you radiate that light and that joy, and people want to know what you're doing. They want a piece of that. So it's never too late to start over or reinvent yourself. Go back to your soulmate program. And like Danielle Natoni preaches to us all the time, if things aren't going good in your business, go back to your workouts. What are you doing? Are you committed to a workout? Are you dabbling? Like, I can totally even say it in her voice because she says that. Are you dabbling in a program, right? Like, I hear her right here. When you have lost the joy in this business, you need to go back to you, because that, Ashley heard it too, that is where our joy started, right? So that's my thing. No matter how, I don't care. I've had to do that myself in the almost 7 years in this business. I'm like doing hammer and chisel right now, which was one of my sole programs. You know, I go back to Body Beast a lot because I have to find my own joy. So that's what I would say. Go back to what you find joy in doing, and it will radiate.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, go back to focusing on your journey. And I also would add, like, go back to figuring out your morning routine. Because I think sometimes if you wait too long in the day, like, then you feel like getting your workout in and doing your PD and all that stuff seems like a chore versus like alone time. Versus, especially for moms, I'm sure that you like literally cherish that alone quiet time in the mornings to yourself. And I think that getting back sometimes to, you know, your routine and stuff helps people a lot. And I also think that finding fun people to like run a challenge group with and work with, because sometimes we kind of get caught in like a rut of working with the same people, and you're both kind of in a rut and it's just not fun. Like, your challenge groups are boring. I suggest to branch out. I've been through lots of success partners, and that's fine. You know, we'll like do really well for a while and then we kind of like go our separate ways. And I think that that's totally fine, because you just need to find fun people that are kind of in the same direction, going the same direction as you, someone that's going to encourage you and make things fun again. Like, find those fun people to work with and that are going to push you. And doesn't mean you need to go send 100 invites, but you do need to, you know, sit down. If you want to grow this business, you have to sit down and be able to do a solid power hour. Like, if you're not being able to do a power hour, it's hard. And then you stress out about not hitting Success Club, but you're not doing the work. And I think that going back to like taking the actions that actually get you to your goals is going to be way more fun. And getting it done earlier in the day always helps when it makes it fun and not like such a chore for most people.
Yeah, so good, you guys. This was incredible content. I hope that maybe some of the burning questions that you felt like too afraid to ask, or you felt alone in, that you got them answered today. Does anyone have any questions that you would like to ask either of them or both of them? Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself, babe.
Hi, so Katrina, I think it was you, maybe it was Melissa, it was one of you guys, I can't remember. But I remember listening to a call that I had with Jessica, and you guys were talking about coaches, bringing on business builders. And one of my things, my focus is, because I want to get to 2-star, has been that. And I kind of keep going back to it, and I finally think I've settled in that for me, yes, I talk about coaching. I do, you know, the posts and I do the lives. I don't avoid that. And if somebody comes across that strikes me as someone who'd be a good coach, I invite, I reach out. But how I feel like for me, being true to me and my business, the way I want to run it, I want to get most of my people from successful challengers. And so people who fall in love with the product, people who fall in love with Beachbody, people who are like me, who already see the love of what we do. So my question is, in doing that, because I know you guys kind of touched on this, but I was wondering if there's any more tips you have for how to bring people on with the, you know, the 3 people, because Katrina, you mentioned that you already have that conversation with them as far as, you know, come to me with 3 people that you want to do this with, without making them feel like they're doing the business, because I don't want them to miss success starters. I was in 9-week Control Freak, and I absolutely freaking like, woo, all the emotions. It was amazing. That program is like, everybody needs to do it. But I don't want them to miss that opportunity. And I feel like some of my coaches who came on as discount coaches are now kind of doing that. So I just wanted to know if there's any tips on kind of encouraging them to refer people and kind of invite people, but without making them feel like, oh my God, I don't want to do this coach thing. I told you that, so that they don't miss that if they do fall in love with it.
No, absolutely. So I just talked to them about how bad they want success with their own journey, because I'll hold you accountable, but only to a certain extent, right? Like I can't text you at 5 a.m. I mean, some people I do, but you know, like what if your roommate did it? What if your boyfriend did it, right? Or husband or whatever. And that's kind of how I bring it in. I never talk to them about, oh, you know, unless they come in saying I need to make money at this, I'm like, you're going to make $50 back. Like, I don't rush them with that. But I do talk to them about an accountability buddy. And a lot of times I'm like, the more people you bring in to do this with you, the more accountable you're going to be because you brought them in. Like, they're going to be like, you can't quit on them. You got them to do this, right? So that's kind of how I word it to them. And that if they really truly want success, and so many people in this business are yes, I want amazing results, but at the end of it they're like, but I'm not willing to work, you know, get up at 5, and I'm not willing to do this. And it's like, then you might need a little additional accountability, because I'm kind of tough love, where like, if you want results, you'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, or you'll do it at 9 p.m., right? So if that's not your love language, you might want to ask a friend or two to help hold you accountable, because I'm going to just straight up ask you why it didn't get done, right? So as far as like business building coaches, half of my coaches didn't sign on to be business builders. It came once they were like, I just got an $86 paycheck and I have no idea how. And I'm like, well, that was for signing your friend, right? And that was for signing your spouse. Oh my gosh, it's that easy to make money? I'm like, well, till your warm market's gone, yes. So you might want to start with a getting started right training that I have. Or how about you check this out? And I'll start feeding it to them slowly. All in all, it starts with, sure, I'll sign up as a VIP member and get a discount. And then I think it falls on you as far as the conversations you have, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. And so that's just one of those things. I think for me, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I think I need to focus on also my check-ins, like when, you know, have them kind of scheduled, watching these people and making sure that they're doing the things, but yes, inviting them to invite their friends, saying, you know, hey, just do, you know, why don't you grab a couple of your besties or your mom or your sister and have them jump in with you, because it'll hold you more accountable. So I just didn't know if there was anything else, because I didn't want to overwhelm them with the business.
Felicia, I would also, like, just from like you, like obviously being in the test group was super like life-changing for you. Like I would just share some, like more of that with people too, because sometimes you might not even have to say like, hey, you have to find 3 people for 3 of your first 6 months, and you can go and like share how like special that was for you if that was the first test group you've been in, and talk about that. Because I think sometimes like everyone will be attracted to different things. It might be like, yeah, the money or being able to help their friends in the community, but also like something that could like literally change how they feel about themselves. Like I would just try all the things, but don't like leave that part out too. Like literally share your story and how much it meant to you to earn something like that. And you could get like a few little, you know, light bulbs, you know, for people, because it's just different for everybody. I always get business builders when I talk about certain things, or if I share income, I'll get totally different people that I've never even talked to. Like I just feel like everyone's motivated in different ways. So try all the things, but I wouldn't leave that out either, just from hearing you talk about it. It was obviously a very good, positive thing for you.
Thank you.
I wanted to share really quick, if you don't mind, Melissa, just because this has been working for me lately, is telling every discount coach that, hey, just so you know, your account was set up with affiliate links. Because people like with Amazon, they're like, oh, I have an affiliate link. I'm like, yeah, if you just send, you know, 3 people use your affiliate link and decide they want to join the group that I'm running, then it'll most likely pay for your investment on what you just did. And that computes so differently than like doing all the trainings and all of that. And for the discount coaches, it triggers their brain that's like, oh, that's cool. And that was how I started. was, I don't want anything to do with the business, but why not refer people? And then it just kind of exploded from there.
Okay, so we have a final question. It just came in the chat. It says, what if your friends and family aren't interested in joining you?
That's totally okay. You have a million trillion people on social media. Like, I still have family members that haven't signed because I didn't solicit my family members, right? Because that's sometimes where we get that negative connotation of like, oh, those Beachbody coaches, they're all out there inviting their friends and family. You know, like that, your warm market is where you should start because they already like, know, and trust you. But at the same time, if you're not willing to cross that bridge, your social media, and I'm going to tell you something, it's probably easier to invite strangers than it is to invite people you know, right? Go out there and just share your journey, share what we have, and let people know every single day through this journey that it is such a gift, and go from there. Because eventually when you invite to your party, people will come. Okay? Promise.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all. Same thing. Like, just share what you're doing, share your love and passion for it, how it's changed your life. And I guarantee a lot of those friends and family at some point, it could be a year, it could be 3 years, 5 years down the road, will at least want some part of, like, not even the business, but some part of what you're a part of, and really intertwine Beachbody in your life instead of like making them separate. I used to, like, when I first started, if people like ever asked what I do, like even right at first when I went full time, I would always like not say that I'm a coach. I don't know why. And the second I started, when people were like, oh, what do you do? Like, talk about what I do, and I'm proud of it. And I think that that's when people like, oh, this is legit. She's not just going to sign up and quit, you know? So just like everyone was saying in the chat, what Katrina already said, just keep showing up, and those people will eventually do it, but still share and talk about what you're doing to your social media world, and you'll find awesome people there too. Like, we all know that it's really cool with social media that you can meet complete strangers and they become like some of your closest best friends. And so you can't get there unless you like actually share all the things and find those people that are strangers.
Yes, I agree with all of that. The other thing is, I would say 2 things. So number 1, maybe if you're a newer coach, sometimes it's easier to get on a call with maybe your upline also, and somebody who has more experience and can explain, because what I find is a lot of times it's a lack of knowledge and understanding on how they can support you, right? And so a closed mouth don't get fed. You have to ask for what you need. And then the other thing is, crap, I lost it. I don't know. But that was the main thing, is really that education piece, and just having people understand how they can benefit, or it can benefit. Like, I want to do this, and I also want to like have accountability, and you're my sister, you're my mom, you're my best friend, whatever, like, please do this with me. It's so much easier to do this with your friends and family. But don't get caught up in that, because literally I didn't know what I was doing when I first signed up. I didn't sign my husband up for like ever. I didn't. And he was like my biggest cheerleader. So just know that you can build without that. I also want to give a huge shout out to Jenny. I've been watching her ride this entire call and she is like on it, and she is in it to win it. Guys, this was incredible. I'm so excited that we have kicked this off and we've brought this back. We have incredible speakers. Each week it's going to be somebody different, so you don't want to miss these. Understand if you can't jump on live, we will always have a replay for you, but just come with an open heart and open ears, respect, open to learn and grow, because all we want to do is help one another and lift one another up. So if you are looking around and you don't see your peers or people from your team on this call, please invite them. This is for all of us to learn and grow together, and we love a live chat. So today was amazing. Thank you guys. We will get the recording up so you can get it out to your teams, and we can't wait until next week. Bye guys. Thanks, Katrina.
Can I say something real quick, Melissa?
Yeah.
I just wanted to share with you guys on this powerful topic, as I'm sick in bed with my 4-month-old, is to remember to see your struggle as an opportunity. And we are in really hard times right now, but that can also be your superpower. And I truly believe that as coaches, that we are called to be set apart and to step out and show people how to continue to show up when life is hard. Our culture has gotten super soft and we've gotten really lazy, and you can look at these times in our life as like, it's not fair, I'm a victim, this is horrible, and see yourself as a victim, or you can choose to see it for what it is. We can't change some of the hard stuff we're going through, but we can choose how we respond and how we're going to show up and how we're going to continue to be the light. And as Beachbody coaches, that is at our fingertips. We have an incredible platform to do that for people. And so don't take that lightly. Let your struggle be your superpower. Everything that's hard, show people how you're continuing to show up. And at the end of the day, it just becomes a choice. I think in this business, and in anything worth anything good in life, you're going to struggle and you're going to have hard days. And when I have those hard days in my business, I still ask myself, on my hardest days, if I quit, like, what's the alternative? You choose your hard. I would never quit this business, even when I struggle and I fall on my face, because it is so, on the worst days, it's so much better than the alternative, And so I would just encourage all of us to ask ourselves that today. You have the opportunity, whether you're brand new and you just signed up, or you've been a coach for 10 years, you have an opportunity to change people's lives. Be in social media where it's dark and you be the light. If you don't like how it is, you change it. If you don't like the way things are going, do something about it. And I think that's what, Cosy and Katrina have showed us today. You control what you do. And I think that that's really, really an incredible opportunity that we have. That's all.
And really piggybacking off what Jess said, and I intended on saying this in the beginning and then I got flustered because my computer wouldn't work. But just really thinking, you guys, just like Jess is saying, this is such a gift. We have this incredible opportunity, and most of us on this call that compensates us very well, right? And maybe you're working to get there. I couldn't imagine having to send my kids to daycare still. My 3 kids, the older ones might be home and having to fend for themselves through distance learning. But like my daughter, who's 5 years old, having to navigate all of this alone, and then wondering if the daycare is going to get shut down or she's going to catch something from someone else. Like right now, I feel like I'm more blessed. Each year just gets better and better. Like this opportunity adds so much value to my life. And so again, that goes to that education piece. If you're not just talking about just the workouts, just the shakes, posting your sweaty selfie, but you're talking about the community that lifts you up, that's here for you no matter what, right? That literally, this has been my highest earning income year, when people unfortunately are losing their jobs. And I don't say that lightly to brag or boast, but I say that because this is real. And if you choose to make a decision to lean into it, it can be your reality as well. You just have to make a decision on what's important to you and then show up every single day and treat this like a business, because that's exactly what it is. And your whole life can transform. And the best part about that is you can pay that forward to other people. And when you watch other people's lives transform, that's like the most incredible gift I've ever received, is watching my coaches be able to walk away from their jobs, be able to come into better health, better mindset, better marriages, better everything, right, than they would have ever had without this. So I think we just do a better job at, or continue to do a great job at navigating this season and showing people what we have to offer, what coaching truly is about, because it's not about signing somebody up and getting 2 Success Club points and hopefully hitting Success Club consecutively so that you can get all those prizes. It's literally about changing people's lives. And when you become a servant leader and you are able to impact people's lives, your life will change. So that is all we have for you guys. We are super pumped for this. Next week, I believe, Jess or Katrina is facilitating 2 new speakers. Be here. We're going to bring all the fire. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bring your teams. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.